No, thanks for your question. I'm particularly worried about small, medium enterprises, but all businesses clearly are affected by the decision to leave the European Union. You'll have seen, because I know you've talked about it, the independent analysis undertaken, I think it's almost 100 pages, which talked about the 7 key sectors. But actually, you'll also be aware from being a long-standing member of the Assembly, the financial contribution we receive from the European Union. So there are a number of projects my budget is supporting across London, and the idea is to help businesses grow, give them access to funding, attract investment and fill their skill gaps. And I'll actually give you some examples, just 3, to give you an idea of a flavour of the work that we're doing, Jules, Rajesh and others. First is the London Growth Hub. And the idea here is, after speaking to small businesses, the question we ask is, what would help you the most? And what the London Growth Hub will do is be a tool to signpost and provide information to SMEs, how to access funding, how to give you business support, workspace help, how we can use, Gareth mentioned London and Partners, but can there be mentoring SMEs going forward? How can we attract companies and investment to London? And that's why I alluded to the new areas around the world where London and Partners have set up, which will help small businesses. And you'll be aware that as part of my Mayor's International Business Programme, I particularly take with me small businesses, particularly those that are female founders, and otherwise won't get access to venture capital. The second big thing we're doing is the Tech Invest Programme, which gives innovative tech firms the opportunity to attract capital funding to enable them to grow. We've got many firms starting up in incubators, accelerators, scale-ups, and the idea is to help them in relation to growing. London is the tech capital of Europe. We've got to make sure we stay that way, but try and catch up with New York and Silicon Valley as well. And the final thing linked with that is the Digital Talent Pipeline Programme. And the idea there is, according to all the experts, and we're seeing some evidence of this, examples of Londoners who are EU citizens leaving London, but that should redouble our efforts to try and train people who are here and going to stay here with the skills they need for the jobs of tomorrow, particularly Fiona targeting girls in schools and BA communities and in deprived areas, given the tech skills they need going forward. And the Business Advisory Board, working closely with LEAP, is doing some work about how we can push this forward going forward. And the good news is with the devolution of FE around the corner, it will lead to us doing more training of young people rather than less.
Thank you. And the independent analysis that you mentioned, commissioned by yourself, found that in all scenarios, apart from our current situation, London will lose out in migration and productivity. And the sectors in London that will be hardest hit will be construction and hospitality, due to their reliance on EU workers. How will this impact on other commitments in your budget, for example, increasing housing provision?
It's a big issue. So the estimates we currently have is London's population will go up by 100,000 each year. You'll be aware of the positive impact that has on buoyancy, but growth without planning can lead to problems. And so it's really important we plan for the growth, but we also plan for the possibility of skilled workers leaving London, which will lead to less taxes coming in, less remuneration for us to then hand out. So we are conscious of what's happening. One of the things, by the way, I'm told is that economic forecasts look at passengers using London Underground as a way of seeing whether there's an updip or a downdip in relation to what's happening in London. That's why one of the concerns we had around the passenger forecast for the tube being not being as it should be is that a sign of the uncertainty caused by Brexit and people leaving. So we keep an eye on this. TfL look at their figures every week in relation to passenger forecasts, and we'll have to flex in relation to what happens over the course of the next few weeks and months. For example, at the end of March, when the government makes her announcement with the EU in relation to the progress made on transitional deal, that could lead to big changes, and end of October, of course, when the final deal is supposed to be done.
Okay, thank you. And what would a no-deal Brexit impact be on your budget plans?
Well, it's difficult to predict completely accurately, but if you look at the economic assessment done by Cambridge Econometrics, that is the least best scenario for London and the country in a whole host of indicators. If you're a restaurateur and you haven't got skilled staff, that affects your ability to be profitable, pay taxes and all the rest of it. Also could lead to jobs being lost if you're in hospitality. The silver lining is London does the best of the entire country. So the silver lining is, because we have a high number of high-skilled jobs compared to the rest of the country, we can take it a bit more and we can bounce back better. There's other parts of the country which will suffer, but you'll be aware of the symbiotic relationship between London and other parts of the country. So it's not simply London and the EU vis-a-vis hard deal, it's London and the rest of the country as well. So there are all sorts of knock-on consequences of a bad deal with the European Union.
Thank you.